Well, hello and welcome again to the Derby Arena in the heart of England and the England Handball Association Women's Cup Final. It's Manchester Hawks who are preparing to take on West London Eagles in this great arena. My name's Paul Bray. Thanks for joining us today. Sitting alongside me is Mark Hawkins, a 2012 Olympian and coach of the Great Britain Under-20 team until last year when you moved to Norway to coach professionally. Mark, welcome.
Thank you, Paul. Good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon, everybody joining us again. It's been a fantastic weekend of cup finals so far at Derby Arena for England Handball, and we're hoping to finish on a high with a really great game between NEM Hawks and West London Eagles.
It certainly should be a very interesting encounter. As you say, it's been a busy weekend. England Handball showcase event here. 8 finals in 2 days, 4 yesterday, 3 today. A little earlier today in the men's cup final, Warrington Wolves dominated Cambridge 33-21, but now it is the turn of the women's with the National Cup final. And Manchester Hawks in the final, who've done so well over the years at the age group competitions on the boys' side, and now in the women's final. West London Eagles, well, they have a bit of pedigree, the club, over the years. They were, in fact, 16 years running consecutive Cup and League double winners between 91 and 2006, then won it again 2011-2012 under Mel Chowns. And then, of course, then lost it in 2014 in the Copper Box against Olympia, which is the last time, in fact, that the Eagles, who are warming up here, made it through to the final, and hoping today to restore the old glory days of Mel Chowns and the Eagles. So it certainly will be a very interesting encounter.
Yeah, like you say, 16 years in a row is some record, some run for the West London Eagles. And yeah, we have a really tightly matched encounter, I think, today. Two teams that have finished just a point different in the league. Yeah, one position separates them. Drew one game earlier in the season in December as well. So, you know, everything points towards something very close in the final game of the finals weekend.
It certainly should be. The teams obviously playing together in the Women's Premier League. Here is the lineup then for Manchester Hawks. Lydia Edgar is the player to look out for, the top scorer in the Women's Premier Handball League with 87 goals this season and 17 in the Cup. Beth Wilbraham, another one with 10 in the Cup, 29 in the league, while Becky Barnes with 56 in the league, and Sophie Unsworth with 44. Other players to look out for, Sophie Unsworth having an excellent season as well, while Lydia Edgar, number 14, is averaging 6.7 goals per match. I mean, that's quite some going for the GB International. So the coach, Donna Hankinson, who's done a great job over the years. I can't really think of a cup final year when we haven't had Manchester Hawks represented in some form or other, with all the hard work that goes into the club in developing young players. And they have done a very great job here with an all-GB lineup. Here is the West London Eagles. Well, they've got a few injury problems. We know now that Christina Littman, number 9, Katarina Witkowska, 13, will not be playing because of injuries. And Anne Holm-Roppen, very unlucky, the number 18, picked up an injury, a finger injury, in the very last match of the season in the league against London Angels, and she is on the list but unlikely to play. But Sunniva Ness, 82 goals this season in the league, the third top scorer, the one to look out for, and 11 goals in the cup competition, while Victoria Milling-Watson, number 5, 44 goals in the league this season, and 10 in the cup. And also look out for number 12, Noélie Chevalier, 38 goals in the league. And Annette Utby in goal will also be one to keep an eye on. They're coached by Paul Dempsey, who during the course of the season got appointed coach of the Great Britain women's team. And indeed, one of his GB players is here today, Maddie Edwards, number 25. He's got 12 goals in the cup competition so far, and is actually top scorer on the cup side. So that should be an interesting one. So the teams have met twice in the league. They met back in September when it was a whopping win. It was 40 goals to 13 to Manchester Hawks in London. In fairness, they took a while to get started and get the players together as Paul Dempsey took over. They were playing without Ness, without Watson, without Roppen, without Edwards. It was a very different team. They met more recently, but still back in December in the league when it was much, much closer. It was a 22-all draw on that occasion up in Manchester, with Barnes scoring 5 for the Hawks and Milling-Watson getting 7 for the Eagles. And that's probably closer to what we may expect to get here. While in the cup competition, both were lucky to get a bye in the first round. West London Eagles then got a bye in the second round, while Manchester Hawks beat neighbours Manchester 28-23, with Edgar scoring 11 on that occasion. In the quarterfinals, the Hawks beat London GD, who've gone on to win the championship this season, 26-25. That was an excellent win, while West London Eagles had an easier run of it in the quarterfinals with a 40-14 win over Poole Phoenix. And then in the semi-finals, well, Manchester Hawks rampant once more, 45-18 winners over Reading Lionesses, while on this occasion it was West London Eagles who had the work cut out to beat Cambridge 23-22, with Milling-Watson and Chevalier scoring 7 goals apiece. So on the face of it, we could think this could be quite a well-balanced final, and we certainly hope so.
Yeah, we certainly hope for an exciting game to finish off the weekend. And as you say, Paul, it's been after what seems like maybe a tough start to the season for West London Eagles, it's been very close between Hawks and Eagles since then, with just a point and a position separating them in the league. A drawn game earlier in the season in December, and yeah, hoping for something close today to finish off this weekend in Derby.
It certainly would be good. In fact, it's Olympia who've won the season here, the Women's Premier Handball League, with 12 wins and 2 draws. Well done to them, because no defeats at all this season. London GD tucked in behind in second place, as you mentioned, Manchester Hawks in third and West London Eagles in fourth. But in fact, that second to fourth place separated by just 2 points. So it's 1 point difference each way, and so it was that close in the league. So it is going to be a very interesting one. We also know, incidentally, on Manchester Hawks that Ellie Whitehead, number 5, who is the captain of the team, she picked up an injury early on in the season. She will be here with the team. We don't expect her to play. Of course, you never know that. We said that about Sebi Hesk in the under-19s league final yesterday. He was on the bench, but with a knee injury and told he wouldn't play. He did hobble on and take a penalty and come off. So who knows? But she is still here, quite rightly, because she's been an absolutely key member of the team over the years, been with them now since 2010, and really wants to be here on this very special occasion for the club as they make it through to the final. So we're just waiting for the teams now to emerge onto court, and I think they're just about ready. And great excitement here. So the spectators are in place, and now here come the teams. First out, it's West London Eagles. So the team who have got such an incredible record in this cup competition, but haven't now been in the final since 2014. Team come out and line up. Annette Utby is at the head of the team there. And now here come Manchester Hawks. The team brimming, I should say, with experience. And the last encounters we mentioned, a 22-all draw back in December. Let's hope it's going to be nice and tight. That's certainly the way we like it as commentators. So with the teams lined up, we will have a presentation of the players here in the arena, where there's been a great atmosphere this weekend. So the referees for today's game, Vafa Amadie and Fernando Ramos Lopez. Experienced pairing. So the teams will be introduced, and we start with Manchester Hawks and Megan Johnson. Sophie Unsworth, who's had such an incredible run and whose birthday it is tomorrow. So an early happy birthday to her, and we'll be hoping for an early present. Talia Ibanga, their number 6, who together with Leona Ellis and Beth Wilbraham are in the GB setup. Lydia Edgar is as well, Kate Higginbottom and Becky Barnes for that matter. So we have plenty players. Number 14, just the top scorer in the Premier League with her 87 goals this season. That's Cara Hunt, the other goalkeeper, who's back after a stint studying at Brunel University. 69's Becky Barnes, another one to keep an eye on, the left back, who's also in the Great Britain setup. Ironically, coached, of course, by Paul Dempsey, coach of the Eagles, on the other side today. So now it's West London Eagles and Ed Utby. So number 5, Milling Watson's going to be one to look out for, the Danish back player. Maria Seri, stalwart of the club, she has been over the years. Christina Littmann, who won't be playing, she sadly tore her cruciate ligaments early on in the season, but wanting to be a part of the occasion. Witkowska, who again we're not expecting to play, but we'll have to wait and see. And there's the player to look out for, number 20, Suniva Ness, who interestingly won the cup title back in 2014, playing for Olympia against West London Eagles, or Ruislip Eagles as they were in those days. And now she's on the other side hoping to bring them. And that was Maddie Edwards, number 25, one of the GB players. That's Mojga, and at the end, Zoe Lacour. And the spectators are here. The Eagles supporters have landed. So they'll swing around. So, Mark, we can probably expect a fairly quick game, and these cup finals, the adrenaline's running. They do tend to start at a bit of a pace, so it should be an interesting spell for the first 10 minutes.
That's right, Paul, yes, and as we saw in the last final, one team got off to a great start and one team not so much, so we're hoping it's a little bit more even towards the start of this game. Yeah, with two teams getting off maybe to a quick start and a good start, and we see how we go from there.
So the last moments then to pull the players together. Donna Hankinson in the centre of it with the great job that she's done. She needs to join them first. There's Paul Dempsey, the coach of the West London Eagles, and now the Great Britain squad with Maddie Edwards with the back to us, who is that GB player in it, the Eagles squad. But there are quite a few more in this Manchester Hawks team who are in the GB setup. In fact, 7 of the Hawks players are involved with the GB squads. So last hurrah for West London Eagles before they take to the court. A title that they have won 18 times in total, including 16 consecutive runs, but I'm afraid since 2012, the last time they won it, it has eluded them, and this could be their big chance. They've had such a good run here. And so we are expecting to see Edwards is going to come on. She is very quick on the fast break. Lombardo, Milling Watson, Suniva Ness and Chevalier with Seri on the line. That's what we expect. Here we go then, and it's West London Eagles in the white tops and black shorts who throw off the English Cup final, playing from left to right against Manchester Hawks, who are in the yellow and black stripes. They open up with a 6-0 defence and an early fumble. The ball is stolen, the break is on, and we said it might be played at a quick pace, and it certainly is. Maddie Edwards has done well. Just knocked the ball away from Eliza Morgan as she was going down the left-hand side. A slight touch of nerves there as the ball fumbled. So, and it's Annette Utby in goal for the Eagles. Ibanga, side netting, but she'll get a free throw. So Ibanga, who's the only real recognised right back in this squad, but they are talented enough to be able to shuffle around and play in different positions. Line play comes out, goes back in. Again, Maddie Edwards gets in the way. Madison, the line player who came out and dropped back in again. Ibanga goes in, a very close angle over the head of the keeper. Storming start. That was quite some shot.
Yeah, from a tight angle there, but worked around the defender well, finished high over the top of Utby in goal for West London.
So now hoping for a better build-up this time. Maria Seri comes out and drops back in. Good defence. Oh, pulled from the back, and that could be an early 2-minute suspension. And an apology immediately. It was quite unintentional. But Emily Madison, number 13, gets 2-minute suspension, catching her around the neck from behind as she forced her way in. And good play, though, by Judith Lombardo, the French back player who saw the opportunity there. Lombardo again, a bit of space now at the back, and the defence will sit flatter. Sunniva Ness, who's been a real danger this season. Cracking season for the number 20, Norwegian, who moved from Olympia in 2016. Chevalier goes in, but the whistle's already gone. Ibanga fouls. Oh, cuts out the back player. Chevalier decides to go for it. Same thing over the shoulder of Karahan. And the opening goal there.
Yeah,
goes to Noélie Chevalier.
Wasn't the best pass into the wing, but did well to collect it and still gather her steps to get a good shot in on goal.
So they're going to be free throw for Manchester Hawks. So both teams starting out with 6-0 defences. They've got depth on it. There you can see Ness is suddenly pushing up to try and isolate the right-hand side and split. Nearly worked as Chevalier came out and knocked the ball away. And they are pressuring them. They're pushing deep, 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 and it really is forcing Barnes to come across and help. She's happy to take the free throw in the end. They're running the clock down on that suspension rather well, Manchester Hawks at the moment, with just 30 seconds remaining, but a passive play call against them, and long-range shot has to be taken, really. When the referee's arm goes up for passive play, you've got 6 passes to get rid of the ball. That's the rule. When the referee decides that it's passive play, that is entirely, however, at the discretion of the referees. There's Donna Hankinson, coach of the team, who's taken them to 3rd in the league this year and hoping to get their first cup title. So Milling Watson, just 20 years of age, the playmaker for West London Eagles. Ness, that wasn't a great pass, did well to pick it up and pick it up well. Milling Watson fouled, and it's a free throw, and they have run down the clock, and it has stayed at 1-1. Manchester Hawks are back to full strength again. Milling Watson, she has got a quick arm and took the defender by surprise, as well as Karahan, who wouldn't have seen that come till the last second.
Yeah, we can just see from the replay there, defence doesn't come out and straight into the top corner.
Immediate response for NEM Hawks from Sophie Unsworth. And the yellow card in the process, which I think was to Sunniva Ness. So patient build-up by West London Eagles. Paul Dempsey taking over just this season. It took a while for him to get the players together. He wanted, well, 2 storming long-range efforts this time. Sunniva Ness, 12th goal in the cup for her. And the Eagles stay 3-2 up, and she's pulled back from behind, and that's another 2-minute suspension this time for Atalia Ibanga. And that was an opportunity. Sunniva Ness was away and was brought down, and she took one for the team there.
Yeah, stopped the fast break there, so pretty easy one for the referee to give. But yeah, good strong start from Milling Watson and Sunniva Ness as the 2 backcourt players. We saw in the last match between Cambridge and Warrington that the 2 strong scorers from Cambridge couldn't get into the game, and West London Eagles have got their 2 main scorers into the game early on, so that'll give them a lot of confidence and put pressure on the middle of that and NEM Hawks defence.
So still a minute and a half with the extra play, but Noélie Chevalier goes in and takes too many steps on the way. And it's a turnover, and that will be very helpful for Manchester Hawks as they look to try and keep possession. No line player for the moment. They may use their wingers to come around and play on the line at the back. Oh, Sunniva Ness so close to the interception, but she's so good at that. And short-handed, Eliza Morgan scores for the Hawks. Oh, brilliant change of direction, but again, too many steps. She landed on the, that's zero. I don't think it was.
It looked a little bit difficult for her, just stuttered with her steps, which I think is probably why the referee gave it.
They've stolen the ball. Sunniva Ness has run off up front. The pass up to her, though, is poor, and Unsworth intercepts it. Maria Seri, and they're going to pay the price at the other end because Wilbraham hadn't even started coming back and finds herself in the right place to score.
Yeah, a couple of quick turnovers, we said at the start. It'd be interesting to see which team settle down first. There's been quite a few mistakes in the opening 6 minutes here, but we'll see which team can settle down first, get a little bit more into a rhythm and start getting a little bit more composure in their attack.
So the Hawks have run the clock down very well indeed for the second time now. They're about to get their players back, and they're back at full strength again. And interestingly, straight away Donna sent Madison back on down the court for the fast break, but the ball got stuck in the netting behind the goal, and the opportunity goes begging. Barnes sets up Unsworth, and a great run by Manchester Hawks. And they've now scored 3 goals without reply to take control here.
Yeah, weathered the storm of the 2-minute suspension. As you say, picked up a couple of goals short-handed and have worked that very well.
And they've actually played over half the time so far short-handed, but are 5-3 up at the moment here in the National Cup final. Still plenty of time. The cool heads looking for the line, but fouled on the way through. Judith Lombardo. Long range shot, oh yes! Now they're having more success with the long range efforts. Milling Watson getting her second of the game.
Yeah, very good from Milling Watson, just out at about 10 metres, but used the block well and into the far right corner.
So both teams not trying to rush their attacks at the moment. The coach has clearly told them, take your time, you've got the moves, build them up. Although a bit of a misunderstanding there, ironically, just as we said they were settled. The break is on. Briefly on the left-hand side, there was space for Edwards, but that closed very quickly. So Maria Seri on the line being very, very tightly marked at the moment. She's got Emily Madison absolutely glued to her, Seri, trying to put the blocks on. Switch back again, Ness. Oh, it's a penalty. Well, she got away, she got a stumble. Let's have a see. Well, it's a difficult one, but if the player interferes, and did she move sideways to put her off balance as she went in? Not easy to see. They're going to change keepers, Manchester Hawks. Megan Johnson is coming in for Cara Hunt, the 19-year-old who's in the GB programme. And goes the wrong way, and a comfortable goal. Third one of the game for Milling Watson. First from the penalty line. It's all square as we come up to 10 minutes played here in the cup final. A bit different to the men's event earlier, where after 5 minutes, I think it was 3-1, and after 10 minutes, it was 10-2, I think. The pass to the wing just goes astray a little bit. Cara Hunt's gone back in goal. Oh, that's the danger. They went out to cut the pass, missed the connection, and Sunniva Ness just used the space left behind to perfection. Her second goal.
We've just seen in the last 2 attacks there, Milling Watson's been strong shooting from the middle, and the defence is just coming out a little bit more to put pressure on her, and that's opened up some space for Ness on the left back side, and to get the penalty, the attack before, and score the breakthrough there.
So after Manchester Hawks had a run of 3 goals to take the initiative, and now it's West London Eagles who scored 3 to take it back. Oh, big gap in the middle, shoots over the top, nothing given by the referees. Unsworth apologises to the bench as she gets up, but she'll need to sprint back because Sunniva Ness isn't hanging around. Into the wing. Oh, Maddie Edwards off the post, how unlucky. Ibanga's gone down, and a long pass is too long. There was actually no one really up there. Well, Eliza Morgan was running for it, but 3 defenders around her. So change coming up now, and Paul Dempsey has now pressed Margarita Ciano into the attack. She's gone into the left wing. So it's meant that he's moved now Maddie Edwards, number 25, into the left back position as they shuffle around. Passive play is now being called against West London Eagles. 6 passes to get rid of the ball. They didn't need it because Milling Watson found her range with that, and her 4th goal, shooting around the defender, leaves Cara Hunt unsighted.
Yeah, just managed to use the block there just enough to squeeze it into the bottom left-hand corner, but I think Hunt might be a little bit disappointed that she wasn't able to cover the goalkeeper side a little bit more there.
And in fact, not only that, but she's now been replaced by Megan Johnson at the other end as play continues here. Becky Barnes going through, good defence by West London Eagles, but they didn't manage to close the door quick enough. And as they step into the area, they give away the penalty. So around comes Lydia Edgar, top scorer in the league, and incidentally her birthday today, so happy birthday to her. Oh! Well, no gift there, I'm afraid. No. Straight over the top.
Bit of a wry smile as she turned her eye there. She not happy with that, but returns to her position in defence. So it's actually, she's not the only one. Paige Schofield, who's also celebrating her birthday today, so oh, good play to try and isolate them. A little shove, and we're lucky there because that looked like too many steps, really. She, because the smart move as a defender there, of course, when you see them coming in and they still haven't got to the open spaces, to take that step back and encourage them to take that 4th step. And Maria Seri, though, has taken a blow to the face, the line player. He's had such an incredible season. She's a real stalwart for the team, leads by example. And it means that Sunniva Ness has to come back on again. Maddie Edwards will go back into the left wing, while Ciano moves from wing into the line. So the Eagles are leading 7-5 here. Into the line, and that's going to be another free throw. West London Eagles, who've had a successful run here to the finals, with 3 teams in the finals this weekend. Ness, that won't count. The whistle's already gone. It's going to be a free throw. Yesterday, the West London Eagles under-19 girls sadly lost their final in the under-19s league, 22-24 to Stroud. But earlier today, the under-16 boys won the title in extra time against Warrington Wolves. I'd love to make it a second title through the legs of the keeper, and Sunniva Ness, a lovely pass, but she's taken a blow in the process. Ciano, the scorer, she's up and she's, you can see, running back now. It is not for the faint-hearted, handball. No, it was nicely done as well. Took a smack in the face for her efforts there, but a nice pass into the line and good movement there, and yeah, extends the lead 8-5 to West London.
Slowly but steadily, and Manchester Hawks have now struggled. They were 5-3 up. They've now conceded 5 goals without reply. Ibanga, sails over the top, but she'll get the free throw. Ibanga, who on the way back just has a high five with Maddie Edwards, who blocked her on the way through. The two, of course, in the Great Britain programme together, know each other well. Unsworth into the wing. It wasn't a great pass, under too much pressure, though, by Unsworth, in fairness. But she keeps possession. with 11 goals in the Cup, 44 in the league, the number 2 for Manchester Hawks. Great season. Oh, big gap now on the wing. Great save, Annette Utbu. And the fast break is on. Maddie Edwards is there. It's been deflected. Managed to keep it in the court. The referee's got there and says the foul is against Maddie Edwards, and she's got to race back now because Hawks are storming forwards. Barnes, good block on the wall. Took the sting out of the shot. End-to-end stuff here. It's breathless. Milling-Watson. Unsworth, wow, takes one for the team there. She stands in front.
Brilliant tackle to stop the fast break.
And your Milling-Watson did well as well, because if she'd gone in any harder, it would have been an attacking foul. She just managed to pull up and turn a little bit to the left.
That's right, yeah, it's a dangerous situation as well. 6 against 4 coming down there. Unsworth did well to break that up.
So a 3-goal lead for West London Eagles after they were 3-5 down. They're now 8-5 up. Oh, off the post by Suni Vaness. It's still in though. That won't count. Maddie Edwards stepping on the line there. And an opportunity goes begging for the Eagles. Oh, they've really upped the tempo now. The pace at both ends. Ibanga all the way through. She wins the penalty. The foul between Chiano and Ness, and the referee says you're inside the area. So it looks like Becky Barnes is coming forwards, but she pulls up because she can see that, in fact, Lydia Edgar, who missed her first penalty, will have another go. Well, Utbu went the right way, but this time Edgar does score, and it brings to an end a 5-0 run. And some relief there for Manchester Hawks to get going again. So coming in on the left wing now is Zoe Lacour, just 16 years of age. She was in the team that just failed to win the under-19s title yesterday. She is on the GB under-19s programme, has had a great season. Scoring 91 goals in total, Lacour, between the under-19s league and the Premier Handball League. Slightly breaking down at the back now. They've just got to get a little bit of form, looking for the line. The ball is loose. Play on, says the referee, but some shirt holding. And a bit of a let-off for the Eagles. Oh, parried away. I think there may have been a touch on it by Megan Johnson. Ibanga looking for the line. The ball is loose and quickly closed down. And there's just no space there for Madison, but she does win at least the free throw. Barnes dummies around the middle, around the outside, puts it wide. Just a little bit of untidy finishing at the moment on the Hawks side, and it's just then you get the quick turnovers.
That's right, yeah.
Oh, and another 2-minute suspension. And this time Sophie Unsworth. Well, she tries, and it's Ness. It's twice now she's been pulled down. The crowd don't like it, but the referee was right there to see it. Problem is when you hold from the back, I mean, it's inevitable.
Yeah, it's a tough one there on the fast break. The referee has a lot more of a decision to make than whether he would do if it was in a
set piece.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, another long-range effort there, and Milling-Watson already on 5 goals here in this final.
Every time the defence doesn't come out, she's ready to step forward and take that shot, and yeah, it's been brilliant so far. 5 goals in the first 20 minutes of the game.
So a 3-goal lead for the Hawks. Oh, so close, Chevalier to steal it. Barnes instead, though, manages to break through and use the space left behind for her first goal of the game. 23-year-old scoring her 7th cup goal to add to 56 in the Premier League. They are certainly going up on Ness very hard, aren't they? They know she's the big danger for the team, and she more often than not gets individually marked out of these games. But team timeout now called by West London Eagles, as we've gone into a little bit of a stalemate situation in the last few minutes.
That's right, like you said, the defence is coming out a little bit more against Milling Watson and against Ness, especially when they're a player down. We saw a couple of attacks ago, Edgar coming out to put the pressure on the back shooters, as they scored 7 of the 9 West London goals so far. So they'll be certainly looking to put a little bit more pressure on there, because every time they do stay back, it's been Milling Watson who's been able to unlock the defence with a good shot from 9 metres. So it's that's really the battle that's key to the game at the moment.
Well, I've got a funny feeling that actually Donna Hankinson had taken a green card and was going towards the table, and I suspect if Paul Dempsey hadn't done it first, on the next turnaround, she was going to put the card on the table. So Paul Dempsey's done her a bit of a favour and saved her a team timeout for later. If you're not too familiar with the rules, teams have 3 team timeouts each in the match, 1 minute for the team timeout. You can 1 in each half. The third one is a floater you can use in either half. The only rule is that you can't use 2 team timeouts in the last 5 minutes of a match. So 2 goals in it. So play will resume. Having a quick look to see it's the same lineup across the back. There is no change. Chevalier in on the right wing, and Ciano stays on the line. Zoe Lacour switch back again. Ness into the wing. Oh, brilliantly played. Zoe Lacour, the 16-year-old, youngest player on court here in this cup final, ahead of McLaughlin on the Hawks side. He's 17. Tries to go through. That's going to be a free throw, and we're past the 20-minute mark now in the game. Less than 10 minutes remaining in this first half, which has seesawed. It was a decent start by the Eagles, and then Hawks had a 3-0 turnaround, and then Eagles had a 5-0 turnaround. Then a bit of a stalemate. Long range shot by Ness this time, doesn't frame it at all. It sails way over the top. Maybe lacking a bit of resin. Into the middle with the left back being cut out. It's Beth Wilbraham who is in now at left back for Becky Barnes. And into the centre, Paige Schofield. Pays dividends straight away. Wilbraham's second goal of the game.
Yeah, that looked a little bit better from the Hawks. More of a shot they wanted. Like you said, a couple of mistakes. They haven't found the rhythm with a 2-minute suspension there, but back to full strength, and that was much better in attack from them.
And the ball is stolen. Chance now. And that was inside anyway. So good inspired change there by Donna Hankinson. 2 players changed at the back, with Schofield coming in as well in the centre. And Wilbraham, and he delivers results almost straight away. So about 8 minutes remaining now in the first half. Ciano, and then release of Chevalier through the legs. Second goal for Noélie Chevalier, the 27-year-old French player who's been comfortably playing at the back or on the wing. And Paul Dempsey does expect most of his players to be versatile and play in different positions. That's going to be a free throw. Sunny Vaness there getting in a bit of a tussle with Emily Madison, neither wanting to move out of the way of each other. Good save, Udby. It's going to be a free throw though. Second fine save by the keeper. Oh, looking for the line, and she didn't move into the space she was expecting. Madison there just trailed back instead of moving across.
Yeah, Schofield did well not to take an extra step there and turn the ball over, just enough to keep with him and set up another attack for the Hawks.
Oh, overlap here. And Utby got a leg onto it, but not enough, I'm afraid, to keep it out. And that's a third goal for Beth Wilbraham, who's making a bit of the difference here for the Hawks. Into the wing, Chevalier again. This time goes on the far post, and it's a third goal for her. And the 3-goal lead is restored for West London Eagles. They just can't quite find the right keeper decision there, as Cara Hunt is going back in again for Megan Johnson.
No, neither found any rhythm yet or a string of saves to build the confidence and build the momentum. And yeah, 12 goals after 23 minutes. It's quite normal for Hankinson to be rotating the goalkeepers to try and find somebody with a bit more, a few more saves in them.
Noélie Chevalier there, just one of those sudden rush of blood. Makes a pass across the court, but way behind Ness, and it goes out, and a turnover. So out comes the line. Madison drops back in again. Shift towards the middle. Wilbraham, who's had a good run here, into the wing. Decides not to shoot. That's the right decision. There really wasn't a lot of space in on that side for Edgar. Unsworth on the line. Good play. And there may be trouble for West London Eagles because there was a lot of holding, and Maria Seri indeed does go off for a 2-minute suspension. Unsworth's third goal brings them back to within 2 as we enter the last 5 minutes of the first half.
Yeah, and with the 2-minute suspension now for West London, there's a good chance for Hawks just to close that gap, maybe try and get it back level just before the break.
So they may try and bring their wingers in on the line. Oh, Chevalier! Brilliant little shimmy. It makes up for that earlier mistake. 4 goals for her. Slowly but surely she's catching up Milling Watson, who's on 5. But still, though, West London Eagles are short-handed for 1 minute and 25 seconds. And with 4.5 minutes of the first half remaining, team timeout called by Manchester Hawks. Donna Hankinson just wanting to reset things as off go Annette Utby, who's made a couple of good saves there.
Yeah, Donna, I think just trying to set them up for the last few minutes here. Like we said, one player up is a very, very good play from Chevalier there, just to open up the defence by herself. Very explosive player, and she's been on good form so far in the game. But yeah, Donna just looking to calm the Hawks team down, make the most of this attacking situation with an extra player, get a couple of good attacks, and try and close that gap a little bit more just before half-time.
So, as ever, plenty of emotion with Donna Hankinson as she G's her players along here to really urge them, as you say, Mark, for that run to the half-time whistle. For the West London Eagles, well, it's been a great season, and they just started slowly, and it kind of cost them in the end because it could have been a brilliant season for them, but some of those early defeats they had. They started, in fact, with a couple of defeats. The first one of the season was the Manchester Hawks defeat, followed by Olympia. Took them a while to get into their stride, but when they did, they've been very, very good, and it's a good prospect for next season. So play resumes after that first team timeout called by Manchester Hawks, and we have literally 4.5 minutes remaining now. Unsworth, Ness, got away, but too many steps.
Yeah, well defended from Ness, just enough to draw the defender in and then let go and not give away a free throw there and forced Hawks into a mistake.
So Chevalier, Milling Watson. That's going to be a free throw. Comes off the legs of Eliza Morgan, but totally accidental. Nothing she could do about it. It was thrown into her feet. I don't know if Chevalier felt she had no other option and was just going to try and keep possession that way. Well, both the left back and centre players quickly marked by Manchester Hawks to try and isolate Chevalier. after she'd taken the 3 steps, but was wise enough to just take the bounce and move in and take a free throw. Solid defense again as Ness tries to go through, but there's absolutely no way there. Passive play is now being called against Eagles. Oh, should have taken the shot because they've run out of passes. I'm not quite sure whether Chiana realized that she was on the end of that 6th pass. Oh, it makes a save, but it's going to be a penalty and a 2-minute suspension for Milling-Watson. And that's so costly when there was a shot to be taken at the other end, and then that's the result there. It wasn't helped by the fact that Ness, I think, thought she was being called to the bench, came over and was said, well, stay on, and wasn't there to help either. So penalty will be taken by Edgar. Scores her 2nd of the game. He's had an amazing season, Edgar, averaging 6.7 goals a match. Just under the keeper. Still, though, a 2-goal gap as we're well inside the last 3 minutes. And so West London Eagles, who just got back to full strength, are now short-handed. And they'll be back to full strength with about a minute of the first half remaining. Ness tries to windmill, feint away through. That was class. Great goal by Suniva Ness.
Yeah, did really well there to keep her balance and just spin away from the defender. Yeah, fantastic goal, Suniva Ness.
Well, at the other end, big gap opening up all of a sudden as again they push up but miss the connection, West London Eagles, and leave the door wide open.
Yeah, both defenders came out there and Wilbraham did a really great job to see Higginbottom coming underneath the line player and a cool finish.
First goal by Higginbottom, it keeps them within 2. And it's about 50 seconds before West London Eagles are at full strength again. And they're going to individually mark Suniva Ness. It seems to have been the trait of the season for her that she's spent so many matches in the league being marked out of games. She's just out of the picture. You see her strolling back in now. And she decides to go in on the line while she's being individually marked. That's going to be a free throw. Clock is running down. 25 seconds, but they won't get that long, I don't think, from the referees. In fact, they don't, because passive play is being called now. But they've stolen the ball back anyway, Manchester Hawks, and the break is on. Wilbraham looks up. Barnes. Good run now by Manchester Hawks. Slowly but surely, they are closing the gap.
Yeah, a couple of back-to-back 2-minute suspensions. They've been able to put pressure on Ness with Milling-Watson out of the game, and they haven't been able to find another way to score, West London.
So the suspension is over, mercifully for West London Eagles, and Milling-Watson is back on again, number 5. Looks for the line. Solid defending as ever. Barnes giving nothing away. We have about 35 seconds remaining, and that's inside the area by Chiano, the line player, and a turnover just at a terrible moment, because this could be a chance for Manchester Hawks to strike a real psychological blow and level this game going into the half-time break with about 20 seconds remaining.
Yeah, they've given a lot of confidence and a lot of belief going into half-time level after they've trailed since the early stages.
Desperate defending there by the Eagles to make sure they keep that initiative going. 9 seconds. Shoot, they're saying the ball stolen. Ness has done absolutely the right thing. It's a free throw from a long way out. It's going to be a direct throw, the last throw of the first half. It looks like Wilbraham's teeing up to do it. The London Eagles players will line up a wall at 3 meters in front of the shooter. And the Hawks are trying to interfere with the wall by standing in front. The referee says, no, you can't do that. Can you just step away? And he's trying to move them back. He's saying you're a little bit closer than 3 meters. So Becky Barnes, and this would be some goal if she scored it. Well, not a bad effort, and that brings to an end the first half with West London Eagles leading by the narrowest of margins here in the Derby Arena. It's 14-13 at the break, and both teams have had their moments of superiority in the game, but in the end, Eagles built up a 3-goal lead, but slowly Hawks have closed it back to within 1.
Yeah, that's right, Paul. It's been quite even in spells. Teams been on runs, 3 goals here, 3 goals there, and it's ended up just with 1 goal difference. But I think so far it's been West London have been able to probably play more to their own style. Ness and Milling Watson have been the two that have been top scoring throughout the season. They've done well so far in the game. The one concern maybe they might have is that Hawks have been able to rotate their bench quite a lot. Milling Watson and Ness are so key. They're defending the middle of the defence as well. They're really important there. If they can stay fresh, you know, it's going to be very good for them. But if they start to get a little bit tired, maybe that comes with a few issues in the attack phase of the game as well. So it'd be interesting to see how it goes in the second half.
And we're just waiting now for the nod from the table to get things underway here in this final half of the weekend. Here we go then, Manchester Hawks throw off the second half. (13-14) is the scoreline. That's not going to count because the whistle's already gone. Be perfect start really for Hawks to level things here. Milling Watson is bundled over, but they say that it was the result of Sunniva Ness pushing on the way through, and they were wondering whether she had a suspension earlier. She has now.
Yeah, that's a very tough one on Sunniva Ness. That's her second 2 minutes of the game, I think, as well. But that looked quite unfortunate for her.
Because it seemed that the player rolled off her initially, but then just stumbled on her footing. So really not what they wanted. And it's all level. And Leela Mosga is replaced Utbun goal, beaten there, and it's all square here in Derby. The perfect start really for Manchester Hawks, and they've got a power play still for about 1 minute and 35 seconds. So free throw, Chevalier. It won't count because she stepped over the line anyway to score, but she's been given a penalty for being bundled over as she went to take the shot. So a chance to go back in front again. Milling Watson will step up to take it. She scored 1 already in the first half. Oh, terrible penalty, straight down the middle, and an easy save for Cara Hunt.
It was in the end, yeah, not in keeping with her form so far in the game. She's been very good so far, Milling Watson, but that was a bit of a shame for her.
Free throw, no luck there for Emily Madison. Managed to turn. Ibanga tries to go around, looks for the line, there's no chance there. Instead tries to lob the ball across to the wing, got stuck in and really ran out of options. And in the process, the ball has sailed out of play. And with about 11 seconds of the suspension remaining, West London Eagles have done well. They've conceded the 1 goal earlier, but here they've weathered the storm. So Maddie Edwards rather has come in now at the left back position. Oh, nice long range shot. Well, talk about an entrance straight off the bench, coming back from the suspension, and she scores her 4th goal.
Yeah, that's why she's so important. And like you say, great speed, great shot there. Really, really good stuff from Sunniva Ness. No surprise to see why she's such a prolific goal scorer for them.
I mean, they are really fortunate in that respect that they've got quite a few players now who can take those 9-meter shots. That was a poor pass straight to her feet. And under pressure, Chevalier's away and scores. And having made the perfect start, Manchester Hawks to level it. They now concede 2 quick goals and give the initiative away again. That's going to be a free throw, is it, or penalty? It's a penalty. Barged on the line. Paul Dempsey there jumps to his feet and yelling across, and Sunniva Ness is such a calming influence, I have to say. She's a tough player. but she is quite calm about things and very studied, never gets worked up in these games. Great sportswoman. And change the keeper. And in comes Thunheim. Got a touch on it, but taken very quickly, and that was well played on the penalty, not waiting for the goalkeeper to get settled at all. And Edgar scores her third goal, but in fact all three of her goals in the game so far have come from the 7-meter line. Ness tripped on the way through. Chevalier into the wing, and no luck there for Maria Seri. Difficult though, because she's right-handed, having to lean right over to get the angle. It just isn't really there. They don't have left-handers. No, and the ball ballooned out.
It's tough. They've rotated Seri Edwards and Chevalier there during the course of the game. You see, a lot more difficult for a right-hander to be effective from there than a left-hander coming in from the right wing.
That was a great save, meanwhile, by Lila Mojga to keep the initiative with West London Eagles. And again, Victoria Milling-Watson, goal number 6. And suddenly they're building the lead up from the other end. Shades of the first half all over again here. Second pair in on the line, puts the block and shot straight through. And Beth Wilbraham there with an absolute storming shot, but by the time she's up, West London Eagles trying to take full advantage. And they paid the price. It took her a while to get back in defence, and Chevalier cleverly exploits the space, teed up nicely by Ness.
Yeah, she's having a really good game, Chevalier. Explosive, like we said at the start. She's won a lot of her one-against-one battles. She's effective herself when she's playing left wing and right wing, and yeah, it's been really good with her finishing.
So it was a poor start for the Eagles there with a suspension for Ness. Slightly contentious one, you might say. And then conceding the equaliser, and there was always a worry that that might be a turning point and that they'd lose their nerve a little bit and their concentration, but they haven't. They've kept utterly focused, clawing their way still back in again here. Coming up to 6 minutes played, it's 18-16. Milling-Watson, what a game she's having. 7th goal for the 20-year-old Dane. Joined the club this year. What a great addition she is.
Yeah, certainly. Ness and Milling-Watson, they've had a really good combination as well. They've worked really well together. They play off each other nicely, and yeah, after just one season, they've obviously created that bond pretty quickly.
Milling-Watson again there in the centre of the defence, stealing the ball away, just give away the free throw. And it helps also take some of the pressure, because Ness so often gets kind of taken out in these games, but now they've got someone else to do it. Brilliant save. Loose ball's picked up, the quick pass down. Oh, Maddie Edwards bounced straight out of her hands. It's going to be a free throw.
Just a little bit behind her there, just had to come back to get the ball, couldn't quite take it in her stride, which was unfortunate, but yeah.
Long range shot again. Oh, that's beautifully placed right down in the corner. 5th goal for Wilbraham. Many of these players have been with the team for a long time on the Manchester Hawks side, working with Donna, building them up from under 16 level through the under 19s into this great team.
Yeah, although Eagles have a slightly older team in terms of their age, a little bit more experience there. A lot of these Hawks players have been playing in the Junior Cup finals in recent years and have more experience on this day than some of the others.
Oh, a very acrobatic goal there by Suniva Ness. Took the throw off a little too quickly, and Manchester Hawks are called back. I mean, you talk about the age difference. Manchester Hawks averaging 21 years of age, while West London Eagles is 29.4. In fact, 8 of their players in the squad, that is, some of them aren't playing here today, are 30 or over. Hibanga, quick spin off Chiano and into the top corner. Swivels round, and Maddie Edwards can do nothing to stop her, short of getting herself sent off. Free throw. Chevalier, Milling, Watson and the Ness at the back, a formidable combination that's worked well in the game. It's going to be a free throw, and it's a 2-minute suspension. She was on the edge on the last call, and this time she's off, and that's a second suspension of the game, Ibanga.
Yeah, that looked a little bit tough there, just going out to the side. There wasn't much on there for the attack. Like you said, you know, the referee's probably just accumulating a few tackles there, but I think that was a little bit harsh on Ibanga.
And a good play by Ness, who saw the option suddenly to switch back and go wide to try and go around the outside, but it didn't quite work out. That's been knocked out of play by the Hawks, though. Possession stays with the West London Eagles, and they've had to stop because the ball has now disappeared underneath one of the stands. And the reserve ball is now in action. You'll see the players will be running some extra resin onto that. May not have quite enough. Maddie Edwards, dummies, passes the ball out, and that's going to be a free throw. With the earlier foul on Maddie Edwards, and Donna Hankinson, who's been complaining about that decision, has got herself a yellow card. Sunniva Ness has moved into the middle now with Milling Watson at left back. Maddie Edwards, good save. Hunt knocks it onto her goal post and the ball comes out again. Manchester Hawks on the break. They'll be glad to have possession back while they're short-handed.
Yeah, we said at the start in the first half, Hawks were changing their goalkeeper, played a little bit with Hunt, then Johnson, then Hunt again, but now Cara Hunt's starting to find a little bit of form now, made a couple of saves in the second half.
Barnes running into that defensive block in the centre. No way through there. And while they've got the extra player, West London Eagles seem to be wanting to shift to a 5-1, although Chevalier, who's been sent to the front, isn't quite sure where Dempsey wants her. And in the end, they decide on central position. She's in front of Unsworth. We just passed the 10-minute mark then in the second half with West London Eagles. A 2-goal lead here in Derby. Barnes goes around the outside, looks for the line. The ball is knocked away. Good defense by Ciano and Edwards. Ball is stolen, Edwards has got it. Chevalier is away fast, but she's got two defenders in front. Milling Watson, straight through. Goal number 8. She's racking up the goals here. Good play. Very nice run, Lydia Edgar, her 4th goal, first from open play. Just pace and not too much that Edwards could do about that, sort of getting herself sent off. Well, both coaches have now got themselves the wrong side of the referees, as Paul Dempsey has got himself a yellow card as well. Fair to say, I think that's been brewing for a little while. He's been getting a bit worked up too. We've seen on a couple of occasions Sunniva Ness come over and say, just calm down. It's normally the other way around.
Yeah, you can see both coaches pacing the sidelines, muttering under their breath. I'm afraid that's just an occupational hazard.
Chevalier, top corner. And she's on 7 goals now. Three-goal lead restored that they had in the first half. Smuggled in, and Milling Watson has taken a blow to the face in the process. Unsworth goes in. And Ness has taken a blow to the stomach as well. It was all carnage out there, but Unsworth's 4th goal brings them back to within 2.
Yeah, no separation at the moment. Both teams clinging on to each other. Hawks can't quite get back level, and Eagles can't quite shake them off at the moment.
12 minutes played, still plenty of time. I'm sure this game can take plenty of twists and turns. Oh, well, she's going over the top, she's going underneath, she's going on the break. Milling Watson's having a cracking game here.
She's been brilliant so far. Can't find a way to stop her. You know, she's been very good shooting from, like you said, from all positions there. You know, she scored 44 goals in the league this season, 9 goals already today. She's taken the pressure off Ness, and it stopped Hawks being able to man individually mark Ness. As you say, it's happened quite a few times for her during the season.
Well, it is still too tight to call, in fairness, at the moment between these two teams, but West London Eagles just edging it and hoping to be able to hang on here for their first title since 2012 in the Cup. Free throw is given. Manchester Hawks stay on the attack. Unsworth rolls off Chevalier. Barnes comes around behind into the wing, not a big angle, and it goes wide. That was going to be a very hard shot to take, frankly, from there. Goalkeeper just needed to stand her ground, Mozga.
It was a tough angle there, yeah. Mozga did it well. Very difficult for Morgan to come in. Nice pass out to the wing, but just not enough space for a shot.
So change of tactics now for Manchester Hawks, who are individually marking Suniva Ness out of the picture at the bottom. She's just staying a long way back so she doesn't interfere with the build-up of the other players. And so it's now down to Chevalier and Milling-Watson, although Ness may want to try and do a darting run. Chevalier goes through, just gets a free throw.
Yeah, both Chevalier and Milling-Watson have been very good, like we said today. Chevalier, very good 1v1 player. This might either open up a bit more space for her, or it might start to stem the flow of Eagles' goals.
Just means that for the moment, Maddie Edwards is coming around very quickly, both wingers, in fact, to try and help at the back as a passive play call is going now. I'm not sure how. I think they've had at least 2 of the passes. Milling-Watson takes that shot. It comes off a defender, balloons, and it's comfortably picked up by Hunt, and the break is on. Unsworth coming in at big pace. Oh. Well, completely wrong foot of the keeper, misread that. And I'm not sure if it deflected actually off one of the players. Well, maybe a few problems brewing here, because Chevalier came to the side and said, can I come off? She's struggling a little bit, but I think with Ness being individually marked, Paul Dempsey shook his head and said, you've got to stay on. So is this where the steam, and we talked about it earlier because they've had the same trio at the back, is this where the steam's going to run out on the attack? Well, doesn't seem to be for Chevalier. She must have heard the commentary because she's charged through for goal number 9.
Exactly right, and we said as they took out Ness, if you take one player, attacker and defender out of the game, there's more space in the rest of the game, and Chevalier exploited that well with her 1v1.
And meanwhile, Barnes here with a little shimmy to go around Chiano, breaks through and scores.
Looked like she had her foot down there on the replay, maybe could have been a penalty, but goal given by the referees, and we're still in that situation where can't quite get level and can't quite get away from them at the moment.
Well, with Ness being individually marked and not really working for Hawks, instead they put 2 players up front, marking Milling-Watson, but in the end it means it's a very narrow defence, and Maddie Edwards goes around the outside to score. First goal for her, but it's nip and tuck here as each responds at the other end. Morgan getting 3rd goal of the game. Still only 2 goals in it for all the drama and the twists and the turns, but 2 players being individually marked, Milling-Watson and Ness. They're on the halfway line, they're out of the picture, and that's why you've only got 4 defenders. That's worked. They've got possession on top of that. Ness is trying to intercept, and that's scored. Becky Barnes is a team timeout needed, I wonder, but we've got to play it down. Maddie Edwards taking a blow as we see the goal again. Just on the left of the picture. Oh dear, she is looking very unsteady, and trouble mounting here for West London Eagles. The play continued, and she just stayed down. And she's looking a bit dazed. So she will be helped off, and another blow. He was about to make a change anyway. It looked like Judith Lombardo was about to come on, and she will come on, but maybe not in the position that he intended to put her in, as Maddie Edwards tries to get her breath again. And she is looking very dazed, I can tell you, on the bench. So play resumes then, and Chiano's now shifted into the left wing, while Lombardo's taken over at left back. Still Ness and Milling-Watson being individually marked. That's going to be a free throw. And And Milling Watson looking to the bench to Paul Dempsey. Do you want us to try and break from the defenders or just stay on the halfway line out of the way? It's 4 against 4 in the attack. And that's the danger, because Chevalier has shown so much pace taking on one-on-one. If you're going to take the other 2 out, I mean, there's only 4 defenders now for her to take on.
That's right, much more space, and you know, some of the quicker defenders are defending Ness and Milling Watson up there to stop them breaking free, like you say. So this will obviously be something that Donna wants to stick with. But if Chevalier keeps breaking through, she might have to rethink it a little bit to maybe bring one or both of those defenders back into closer to the goal area.
Ibanga spins and puts it way wide over the goal, and the 2-goal lead remains for West London Eagles, but there's still plenty of time here. So the 2 defenders again move up and pick up Milling Watson and Ness, who stay back. Chevalier will be looking for an opportunity to take on Edgar one-on-one. She's moving back a bit to get a bit of pace, and in fact, quick response. And Lombardo gets her first goal of the game. 23-year-old back player right up in the corner, and Hunt didn't move.
Yeah, great finish. She started the game on the right back position, but especially when you're taking the 2 top scorers out of the game, you need the rest to step up. Chevalier done it, but then Lombardo coming in there uses the pressure greatly for West London.
So having opened up a 3-goal lead, then a giveaway there by Manchester Hawks, as Becky Barnes, looking for Ibanga on the wing, realised that she wasn't there anymore. She made the pass. Lombardo, too many steps anyway, and it's a turnover. Unsworth takes the shot. In the end, it's just a free throw. They did very well to get away with that, West London Eagles, because it's one of those where you come in at that pace and you give away the penalties on normally.
So yeah, very difficult to stop them there without giving away a penalty when they're so close to 6 metres, but they did well.
So a team timeout call by Manchester Hawks, as their 4-0 to defence formation doesn't quite deliver the intended results yet, but as you say, she may want to persist with it a little longer, maybe some other changes.
That's right, yeah, it's been, I mean, it's something I think they had to go to. Milling Watson and Ness, so pivotal, and have been so good throughout the whole game so far. But yeah, just with the 1v1 ability of Chevalier, she's managed to keep that up, and now Lombardo coming back into the game. She's been able to score a goal in the last attack there, and it's just enough to keep the scoreboard going for Hawks, and it doesn't allow for Eagles, and it doesn't allow for Hawks just to close that gap at all. They need a couple of stops, a couple of fast breaks, and the other difference with 2 players defending so high up the court, we can see the Eagles players out of shot almost so far back. It really reduces the chances for fast breaks for Hawks. So they can't get any of the quick goals. They have to work every time. They have to break down the defence, and it's just not being able to get closer than 2 goals at the moment.
Well, it's still nicely poised here as Manchester Hawks use their 2nd team timeout of the game. Donna Hankinson there. He's got a lot of options on the bench and has turned it quite fluidly, but as we said earlier, West London Eagles haven't been able to really turn the bench quite as much, more reliant on some of the same players at the back, and Chevalier earlier wanting to come off, being told she had to stay on, but she seems to have got a second wind, and she's certainly on good form with 10 goals so far, top scoring in this match. Van goes a long way out on this 5-1 defence, so that's going to be a penalty. And the player is still down, and I think that's Madison. Very sportingly, Chiana goes up to her and apologises. So a chance here to close it back again to within 2 goals. Lydia Edgar, saved! Mojga reads it right, reaches across, and a chance goes begging for Manchester Hawks. And with only just over 10 minutes to go, these ones are going to start to prove crucial, aren't they, those chances?
Yeah, you feel that could be an important moment. They're the ones that you just need. It's so difficult just to claw that goal back. They've been going, after a fast start to the second half, it's been goal for goal quite slowly in the last 4 or 5 minutes, so that one would have been an important one for Hawks.
Well, going through, that's going to be another free throw, and Donna Hankinson's clearly trusting the player she still has at the back there to be strong on the one-on-one. They've got to close down the players as they come in. Chevalier teases and goes through. Top corner, goal number 11. And Noélie Chevalier is having a cracking game here, and when Ness and Milling-Watson are marked out, she steps up to the plate here. The ball is stolen. Nice interception. Ness went on the break.
Yeah, she's stepped up brilliantly, Chevalier. We talked about it a few times now, but yeah, she's been the one to exploit the situation when they've taken out Milling-Watson and Ness, and now she's the top scorer. It's been very effective going through these 1v1 chances.
A little slip there by Ciano. Luckily, came to nothing. Chevalier looks to go around again. This time the bounce pass into Seri is intercepted and the break is on. They've got to make this count. Unsworth, excellent defending, and it's Chevalier again. Stops the break. It's going to be a free throw, and we are well into the last 10 minutes of this cup final. Into the wing, very closed angle. Mosga comes out quickly, smothers the shot. Seri picks up the loose ball, and a couple of key saves by Mosga here in this critical phase of the game. And another goal for Judith Lombardo, second of the game, and they're pressing home their advantage now. Biggest lead yet. 29-25 with 8 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. Looking for the line, and they seem to be running out of ideas at the moment, Hawks. It's getting a little bit untidy. Long pass down, but comfortably intercepted. Mosga just didn't get the length on that one. Nowhere near Ness. Seri defending solidly on the far side for Barnes, and they're beginning to look a little bit tired as well. The Hawks going around the outside. Good save by Mosga, but the whistle's already gone. It's a free throw, and Manchester Hawks will keep possession. 5 goals down at the moment, with time running out. Yeah, too many steps, it looked like. Got away with it. The referees say free throw to Manchester Hawks.
Yeah, Eagles won't mind this. The precious seconds ticking off the clock for them there. You know, they don't need to score at the moment. They just need to let the clock is their friend, certainly.
Ibanga, that was nicely done. Storming around from the wing all the way around and very quickly read. Third goal of the game for the 19-year-old. Moved from Olympia Canuck back in 2016. And so a change in defence now. They've decided to go back to a 6-0 defence.
Yeah, I mean, they were able to stop obviously Milling-Watson and Ness, but weren't able to really start clawing the goals back. So maybe a chance now they could get something on the fast break.
Absolute class, a bit of showboating, no wonder Ness is smiling on the way back. A little Kempe lobbed in the air, she jumps, catches and shoots before she lands. And that was the pick of the crop here today.
Yeah, that's goal of the weekend, I think, so far. That was a really, really good finish. Great pass from Milling-Watson as well. Just gave the eyes to the defender. Wing player thought it was coming out, and then up it goes. And yeah, brilliant finish, brilliant control in the air to be able to catch and finish.
Well, that raised a huge cheer from all the audience here in the arena. Ibanga again! And she's inside. They can't give the goal, but she was fouled in the act of shooting, and so she will have a penalty and a chance for Edgar to come up and try and claw this back. This to bring it back to within 4. Well, went the right way, Mosga, but didn't quite reach across enough, and that's the 4th penalty scored for Edgar. She's missed one as well in the process here, but still a 4-goal lead, and we've got 6 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in this final. Really try and slow the pace down. The danger when you slow the pace, though, is you kind of lose your form and you lose your shape. You've got to play the way you've been playing all along, at least until the last couple of minutes, don't you think?
Absolutely right, and especially if Hawks do get a couple of stops and a couple of scores, then the nerves kick in and it gets a little bit more tense. So it's definitely important to keep doing what they have been. That's the things that have done them so well to get into this position.
So passive play being called, and I hope they're aware of it, London Eagles, because they need to get a shot away. Brilliant save this time by Hunt, who goes right down against Ness and deflects the shot away, and that could be crucial. Less than 6 minutes remaining. Ibanga, who's having a good run here. Dummy shot by Barnes into the line. Yes, this is a good run now by Manchester Hawks. doing everything they can to claw their way back, and now suddenly the Hawks supporters are singing again. Madison's first goal of the game.
Yeah, did well to keep her feet just outside the area there. Stop and score, that's what they need, that's the order of the day. 5 minutes to go. Paul Dempsey getting his timeout card ready just in case.
Well, he's got 2 left. I suppose if he wants to use one, he's got to use it by now. Now he's missed it. He's got 1 team timeout left anyway. Oh, Stolin's the look for the line. This is a great spell by the Hawks. The break is on. And scored, Eliza Morgan. And suddenly, Manchester Hawks have found something special here. And the 5-goal lead is just being whittled down. It's just 2 goals now.
And this is exactly what we talked about. We talked about where the Eagles have slowed the game down. A couple of quick goals in. You know, now it's back to crunch time and 2 goal, just a 2-goal lead. Every goal is going to be crucial, and you know, every attack becomes more and more important. And the nerves will set in if they don't get a goal quickly.
Chevalier passes into the wing. Tough again. Maria Seri, right-handed, trying to shoot from an awkward angle there. And another chance here. Manchester Hawks come streaming forwards. Edgar's running on the line. That's deflected away, but it's a free throw. Ness read it well, but gave away the throw.
Yeah, well,
4 minutes to go.
They'll have been happy to just not give a quick goal away. That would just give extra momentum if Hawks get there. The more they can keep the game in a half-court set of tactic defence, they can let the clock tick more and more, and it plays into their hands.
Trying to go all the way through. That's going to be another free throw. She tucks into 2 defenders there, pushing them back in. Becky Barnes says, I was being held high, but the referee's just trying to keep things calm here and say, look, we'll take the decisions. The nerves clearly kicking in with 3.5 minutes remaining, and Manchester Hawks here with a bit of a revival. And a bit of floor mopping required. Turn inside, Unsworth. Oh, ran into the defender. Too many steps anyway. Ness releases the ball. Good save. Ciano misses, and that could be utterly crucial here. And now it's Hawks who are breaking back again. Ness with a vital challenge. I wonder if maybe Ness could have run on a little bit more with the ball to keep the defender away.
Yeah, really good save, Cara Hunt. And you know, we said it before, but West London had to take that chance. They have to take the fast break and hopefully try and keep it going.
And that's a penalty won by Barnes as she drives through, and a chance to pull it back to within 1. Change of keeper coming up. Thunheim will go back in again. She came in for 1 penalty before. The clock has been stopped. And Edgar brings them back. 5 penalties scored, 1 open play, and it's a 1-goal game all over again with 2.5 minutes to go. 30-25 has become 30-29. You want a drama, you're in the right place. That takes some of the pressure away after a 4-goal run.
Brilliantly done, Ciano, there with their 2nd goal of the game. And again, it's been that player, Chevalier, probably been the spark for West London Eagles, and in a difficult period kept the game going. And yeah, brilliantly played to beat her defender and then draw the next one and have the awareness to drop it into Ciano on the line.
Oh, that's one back again by Bango, who's having a terrific second half there. 4 goals, but a 2-minute suspension. And West London Eagles are going to finish the match short-handed. Ciano is off. And that could now be the opportunity for Manchester Hawks to even put up a player onto Ness or to Milling-Watson and still not be short-handed at the back.
Yeah, that's right, and that could be the difference here. They haven't gone to it so far. It looks like Edgar's coming out on Ness now, but this is really, really a crucial attack. If West London can score here, that might be just enough to see them over the line.
Well, indeed, Ness is being individually marked. She's gone out to the picture to the right. Meanwhile, Lecoeur has been brought on as Paul Dempsey shows great trust in the young 16-year-old in this money time of this cup final. 1 minute and 15 seconds to go, and there's just one goal in it. Ness is looking on. Milling Watson and Chevalier have had a terrific game. Good play by Chevalier, who soaks the clock up again, and we go into the last minute of the final. Ness decides to try and break into the game. That's gone wide, and now a chance for Manchester Hawks to come back and level it. 50 seconds. Manchester Hawks. Oh, it's gone out of play, but that's given us a free throw. Possession stays with the Hawks. If it's tied at the end of normal time, it'll go to extra time, 2 times 5 minutes. Yes! Oh, they're level from 5 goals down. Manchester Hawks. Eliza Morgan with a 5th goal. 25 seconds. Team timeout, the last one of the game for West London Eagles, called by Paul Dempsey. Well, incredible. 30-25 lead, and now it's 31 all. I mean, they left it late, but they've done very well.
They've done just enough, yeah. They gave themselves just enough time, and you know, in the last 10 minutes, it's been a heck of a run. And you know, here we are now, 22 seconds left in the game. West London with the ball, 1 player down. It would seem likely they're going to put some pressure on Ness, maybe Milling Watson as well. It'll be up to see if a player like maybe Chevalier or Lombardo could come up with something for West London. But it's yeah, I think the most important thing that Paul Dempsey will be saying in the timeout there is don't give Hawks another chance to score. Okay, make sure we finish the game, or we take a shot with just a few seconds left. There'd be nothing worse than letting them go on the fast break and giving Hawks a chance to win this when they have possession of the ball with 20 seconds left.
Incredible drama here in the Derby Arena, and we're going to resume with 21 seconds on the clock. The scores are tied. Is this going to be extra time, or can West London Eagles, or indeed Manchester Hawks, steal the ball to get a result in normal time? The Eagles short-handed. Chevalier, the ball fumbled, picked it up again. Milling Watson. Oh, they're under pressure. It's come off the foot, and now it's turned over. 5 seconds. Not sure they realise how little time is left. And there's the buzzer. It's going to go to extra time anyway, because there is no time as we have a turnover. And West London Eagles, if they are going to take it, it's going to be a free throw. It's just going to be a lob it down the court, really, and then play the extra time.
I think time's up there, so, well, I hope someone's booked the hall for longer than 6 o'clock so we can play this extra time ball.
Might have to go to penalties straight away otherwise. So, at the end of regular time, a superb comeback by Manchester Hawks from 5 goals down to force extra time. It will be 2 times 5 minutes with a quick 1-minute break in the middle, and the teams now have to gather. Now, for West London Eagles, they probably felt we're almost there. Psychologically, a huge blow for them, although they will get their full complement back early in extra time.
Yeah, that's right. It's you know, a game of momentum here. You can see the Hawks fans were a little bit more boisterous over on that side of the hall, and they have the momentum. They finished the game on a 6-1 run. That would normally suggest that they're going to have a more power coming in here, and just coming from behind, it gives you a little bit more momentum. It gives you a little bit more energy in this phase. And like you say, those from West London might have started to think the job was done, and it's going to take a bit of an effort now for them to lift themselves. But you know, they have, like you said, when they get back to a full complement of players, Milling Watson and Ness have been very good in a 6v6 situation, and Chevalier as well. You know, they've been the best players of the game. If they can get a couple of goals back, get a couple of goals at the start of the extra time period, then that might be enough.
It is indeed going to be very interesting, but also, I mean, we talked about tiredness, and this 6-1 is probably also a product of that tiredness, a combination thing. We're almost there. Can I just ease up a bit, because this has really been relentless for the back players? And the answer is no, absolutely you can't ease up, because the moment you do, Manchester Hawks will be at you. They are a fierce team, and they never ever do give up.
No, that's right. It's yeah, as we hope, and it's come down even to an extra period now, and yeah, it's going to be a battle of wills. Who can dig the deepest?
So this should get underway very shortly. They'll need to toss a coin to decide who will throw off the first period of extra time. 2 times 5, as we said, with a 1-minute break in the middle. That's just enough time to turn around. And this would be a big day for Manchester Hawks to win the cup. For West London Eagles, this would have been their 19th title, but it could still be either a first or a 19th. But of course, this is a new generation of players, mostly, although players like Seri would have been around in those days. But Mosga played well in goal as well. She's had her moments, made some key saves. Hunt had a good spell, then went a little bit off the boil again, but
definitely, Mosga had a couple of good saves just before Hawks went on their run, a penalty save and one from the line player, and then, as we said, Hunt with the crucial save from the fast break and a couple from Chevalier just towards the end. And yeah, the goalkeepers as well, they're going to be ones to have to play a big role in the next game. You know, the teams are probably going to get maybe 4 to 6 shots in each period. It comes down to such fine margins now that, you know, every save, every goal is really, really crucial.
So with the official bit done, we'll find out in just a second who is going to throw off this second half. And poor old Ellie Whitehead, who came up for the toss of the coin, who's injured and can't play. And that's almost the worst position to be in. I mean, you really would rather be in the thick of the big battle than sitting on the bench and not being able to contribute, especially when she's been such an important player for the team over the years.
That's right, yeah, tough to sit and watch these ones, especially on the bench when you're so close to the action. But yeah, I'm sure she'll be rooting for the team to get themselves over the line.
So Donna Hankinson and Sue Whitehead with Manchester Hawks there. We've orchestrated a fabulous comeback and given us the prospect of an extra 10 minutes of play. If it's still level after this period of extra time, the 2 times 5 minutes, we'll have another 2 times 5 minutes. And if it's still level there and we've got enough court time left and we've put enough money in the meter, then we'll have penalties. So it looks as if it's going to be West London Eagles to throw off the first period of extra time. You usually do suggest that Hawks probably won the toss and offered to give possession away. The idea being that if you have a 2-minute suspension going into the half-time break, you at least have possession to start that second half. So it looks as if they're going to resume in exactly the same way. And they just need to reset the 2-minute suspension because West London Eagles are still going to be short-handed for 16 seconds. And already Barnes is up almost at the halfway line, as you can see there at the bottom of the picture, waiting to individually mark Suniva Ness. And Suniva Ness goes straight into the wing this time, rather than waiting on the halfway line as she has done before. They just need to be a little slow with their attack if they can, because in about 3 seconds they're going to be back to full strength, and Chiano is waiting to come on again. Milling-Watson, Chevalier, and first blood in this extra period goes to Chevalier with a 12th goal. What an incredible match she has had.
Yeah, that'd be important for them after having only scored 1 goal in the last 7 or 8 minutes of the game, to get one at the start, just to get that rhythm back.
Ibanga, who was so crucial in that spell, and that's a breakthrough in the middle. Very nicely done by Madison. Second goal of the game. She scored them late, but she scored the crucial ones. Not Mosga could do about that. Milling-Watson, Chevalier. It's going to be a free throw. Milling-Watson tries a long-range shot. She scored a few of those earlier, but that goes wide. She's looking tired, isn't she? She's not taking on the defenders as she was earlier. It's to be expected. I mean, she's put in a huge workload here.
Yeah, all the players you can see just slowing down a little, playing on emotion and adrenaline at the moment.
Suniva Ness at the front of a 5-1 defence for West London Eagles here. That's a free throw, as Barnes is fouled on the way in. So Madison drops back in on the line. Ibanga had a bit of a spell on the wing and now on the line. That's not going to be given too many steps on the way through, but fouled Unsworth. She gets possession still for the team with a free throw. 2 minutes played of the 5 minutes first spell of extra time. Into the wing. Looks to turn around, and Lacour stays close to her. And as she tries to pass into Madison on the line, she's too closely marked by Chiana. And Paul Dempsey is almost wanting to step on court. He's getting so worked up on the side. Long range shot saved by Mojga, and the loose ball is picked up. And the foul given away by Barnes, really with a view to stopping the fast break.
Already halfway through the first period of extra time there. They just tick by so quickly.
Oh, that's going to be a 2-minute suspension surely, and a penalty. And Zoe Lacour absolutely bundled over. She broke in, and Unsworth is off for her second 2-minute suspension of the game. And the 16-year-old Zoe Lacour, who is tough as nails and not afraid of a challenge, charged into the gap and wins a chance for Suniva Ness to score from 7 meters and edge them back in front again.
Yeah, brilliant recognition of the gap and great confidence from Zoe Lacour to go through and take it.
And it's put away by Suniva Ness. Her 7th goal of the game. It is interesting with Lacour, you could see it actually in the crucial closing stages. She was calling for the ball. You know, some youngsters at 16, you go, I'm just glad to be on, but I don't really want to be thrown into the thick of it. She's asking for it.
You can see Paul Dempsey obviously has a lot of faith in her to put her in for the closing moments of the game, and yeah, obviously not afraid to take her chance. But this could be a crucial spell as we come to the end of the first period, because you know, now a player down, Hawks aren't going to be able to individually mark Ness or Milling-Watson. It could open up a few more chances for them just to, you know, a 1 or 2 goal lead gets even bigger and bigger in this stage of the game.
This is good defending, because after a while now the referees are going to have to go for passive play, and they need that really, West London Eagles, to get on the attack here and take advantage of the extra player. They still have just over a minute on the power play. Long ball to Ibanga, who's always dangerous in possession. Comes back to Barnes. Barnes to the left. Barnes comes back to the middle. Passive play is now being called and kept out by Mojga. Anxious moment as it just drifted down.
Yeah, great save, vital moment, and just under a minute left on the 2-minute suspension. There's a long attack from Hawks, and it really would have broken the back for the Eagles if they'd managed to score that.
So still Ness is staying wide on the wing because she's not being individually marked at the moment. She wouldn't know if she was, so that's going to be a free throw anyway, because she has stayed wide with Zoe Lacour coming in, and they'll do a quick switch in a second as Ness will come around. Milling-Watson moving towards the middle. Oh, did well to keep possession as Ibanga came out very quickly. 35 seconds to half-time. Oh, and powered straight through. And Milling-Watson scores her 8th goal at a crucial moment here for a 2-goal lead. 15 seconds to go in this first period of extra time.
We saw why the toss was so important at half-time. Hawks will start with the ball, so they can score here. They get another attack right after.
Off the post, Chiano's got the ball. Lacour's away, doesn't matter because the clock has run out, and that is the end of the first half of extra time, with West London Eagles having done well to open up a 2-goal lead and put the pressure back on the Hawks again.
Yeah, they've had the better of the first half, but you know, as we said, it's such a tight game, and Hawks will start with the ball. You know, they have a chance to reduce it to 1 goal straight away, and you know, every action is so crucial at the moment. A couple of big saves from Mojga there, and you know, the situation where we were able to get Ness back to shoot for the West London Eagles was just did enough to bring the defenders close, and then Milling-Watson finished, and yeah, just the 2 goals in the period, but hey, all to play for still.
It's still all to play for, and we've seen it with Manchester Hawks' capacity to come back from very tricky situations, and they are there again now as the teams change ends. It's this untidy moment when you've got a minute to swap ends and just get on with it. So For Paul Dempsey, he's really got to keep his nerve now here and just say to the team, look, just stay steady, defend really hard now as if your lives depend on it. Should have mentioned, of course, that Manchester Hawks were back at full strength again. That earlier suspension.
Yeah, and it's going to be certainly a case of whoever can keep the nerve in the crucial moment, who's going to be able to make the deciding finish or the deciding save.
So Manchester Hawks throw off the second period of extra time here, 5 minutes. Wilbraham, Unsworth, Ibanga, and scores again. What a run she is having. Atalia Ibanga, 5 goals, but they've come late and they've come in that difficult spell when they needed someone to step up to the plate, and she has done.
Yeah, herself and Madison picking up a lot of the crucial goals, and here we are again. Milling-Watson now they're taking out. Ness is on the wing, and Zoe Lacour stepping into a crucial role for a 16-year-old.
Gets a free throw, and once more she's thrown to the floor, Zoe Lacour, but gets the free throw as Ness is now switching back to her more traditional left-back position. Milling-Watson individually marked, blocked into the line. Goes to shoot, it's just going to be a free throw. Ibanga again with a crucial block there. And into the line, tries to go through and bundled over. Ibanga's taking no prisoners here. Twice now she's stepped into the breach. Good defence again. Well, Manchester Hawks are defending as if their lives depend on it here. And the passive play call now against West London Eagles. I think they've had a couple of passes.
Looks like the referee signalling there's 4 passes left.
Suniva Ness. They tried to come out and cut the pass early and left the door open at the back. 8th goal for Ness.
Oh, what a brilliant fake there. Drew 2 defenders and sold them completely and had the wherewithal just to come inside and score the breakthrough. Really, really great goal.
Well, that's a turnover, too many steps, just when you need the cool head. 35-30, West London Eagles are leading with 3 minutes of this period of extra time remaining. And again, they steal the ball, not quite. Wilbraham picks up the loose one again, and they've got to close the gaps at the end. Shots taken, that'll be a free throw, and the clock is still running on relentlessly. Well, twice they've stolen the ball, West London Eagles, and twice they just haven't either managed to keep possession or press it up court.
You'd feel at this stage 3 goals might just about be enough.
Oh, and again, can you believe it? She raced after the ball and just fumbled it when she went for it. It's gone out. 3 opportunities now to really ram home the advantage. And so it's a lifeline. Manchester Hawks still in the frame. Unsworth, who's had a great game. Barnes swarming through. It's not going to count. Too many steps, says the referee. You'll come back and take the free throw. And we've got 2 minutes remaining.
I think that was probably just about right from the referee. But again, there's 3 chances to extend the lead, and it could have gone so quickly back to 1.
Great block there by Lombardo off the attempted shot by Wilbraham. And Ibanga is off at the moment. Tell you, getting some treatment. Oh, and a deflection. And the goalkeeper, fooled by that, nothing she could do. Wilbraham shoots, and the block by Lombardo sent the ball back the other way. Can you believe it? 1.5 minutes to go.
Such a hard one to take for the Eagles. We said it could happen. A couple of chances on the fast break and just couldn't get the shot away. And yeah, there it is. Game can change so quickly.
Lombardo brought down again. It's another free throw. As this time it's Ness who's individually picked out by Wilbraham. Shot goes over the top, nothing given. The Chevalier comes away empty-handed. And West London Eagles may yet rue those 3 steals they had where they couldn't capitalise on them. Wilbraham over the top. Barnes looks to change, takes a long-range shot. That's an attacking foul as she backs herself in to Chiano.
This is a crucial moment now. They need the ball back really. Just 45 seconds left in the game. You see now Madison's playing a little bit higher. Just take as much time off the clock as they can, whereas Hawks have got to chase and open up a space, hopefully, to try and get the ball.
Too many steps, the ball's turned over inside the last 30 seconds. A chance now then to take this to another spell of extra time. Good defending by Lombardo.
Very good.
15 seconds.
It's very good to keep him as close down to the other end as possible.
Oh, it's levelled! And Madison with a third goal has levelled it again, and West London Eagles see the lead slip away. It's going to be a free throw. Everyone's getting a bit excited on the bench. They're going to have to come back again, and that is it. The end of the first period of extra time, and it will be another 2 times 5 minutes. And once more in this spell, West London Eagles were tantalisingly close, but the resilience of Manchester Hawks to come back.
We said it in normal time. They couldn't quite shake the Hawks off, and it's proved again. You know, they came back 6 goals to 1 in the last few minutes, 2 goal deficit in the last 2 minutes of the second period of extra time there, and for all the world it looked like West London were just about on the verge of taking to a 3-goal lead with those defensive turnovers, but just couldn't convert it into anything. And then, yeah, here we are, ready to go again, another 10 minutes.
Well, psychologically for West London Eagles, what a pounding that's taking when they are so tantalisingly close, but nerves of steel required now as we go on. We can tell you that Italia Ibanga, who played such a crucial role in that comeback for Manchester Hawks, has come off court in the last minute and a half of that spell of extra time, and is looking as if she's nursing, could be calf, it's difficult to say, or is it a hamstring injury of some kind. She's trying to walk it off, and so the coin is tossed for the 3rd time in this match to decide who will throw off this next period of extra time. And the referees seem to be saying that it's going to be Manchester Hawks. I mean, for Paul Dempsey, what are you trying to tell your players now? You know, who are drained, the back players, certainly who haven't had any respite.
That's a difficult thing as well. They've been in front for such long periods of the game since early on in the first half, really, and it was only at the moments where they got back to 31-30 or 31-31 at the end of normal time, and then, what are we, 35-35 now, the only 2 times that the Hawks have managed to get level. It's such a difficult team talk to give that you just got to keep going, you've got to keep on doing the things you have been doing, keep trusting yourself, and, you know, like we said, take the jumps when you get them. Hawks had that goal that just came off the block and dribbled in. You know, it just had luck, just hasn't quite been there for the Eagles to get over the line, but full credit to this young Hawks team. They keep going back and back, and, you know, they don't know when they're lost. They don't know when they've lost or been defeated or something. I'm losing my words.
Yes. Well, what we said at the beginning, this should be a close game. We didn't realise quite how close it really was going to be as we now go into our 2nd extra time spell. And nerves of steel and a huge amount of adrenaline required for the players to keep going. And it seems that Suniva Ness is not going to be left alone here, because already the player is drifting up to individually mark her. It's Beth Wilbraham who's going to try and take her on, and there is Donna Hankinson looking on as the 2nd extra time run gets underway. And in fact, it's Milling Watson who's being individually marked as Suniva Ness drifts into the left wing position. Chevalier, Lacour, Chevalier again trying to find the ball into the line, but bundled over. Ciano gets a free throw.
Yeah, they might be looking to get Chevalier 1-against-1 against Sophie Unsworth there. They could do with moving the line player onto the other side. Edgar, the stronger of the 2 middle defenders.
Chevalier, not the hardest shot of the game, but just misread by Hunt in goal. And just as in the first extra time, it's West London Eagles who get off the mark first with Chevalier. Across there, long shot. Oh, well read, Mosga. Big save off Beth Wilbraham.
So crucial, I think, from an Eagles point of view. They keep hold of the lead. It just seems to be enough to keep them going at the moment. You feel that if Hawks can just get themselves over that hump and get themselves into the lead, then it could be them that pulls away, but such a tough game to call.
Long range shot, that time Karahan got to it. Did very well. A shot by Lombardo. And it's got to be back to the goalkeeper to take the throw. Should say also for West London Eagles, they've been unfortunate to lose Maddie Edwards. She took a blow to the head in normal time and hasn't been back on since. Sunniva Ness forces Unsworth to stay on the left side of the attack. And she comes up against Chevalier and Milling Watson. It's a free throw though. Ibanga is back on again. That's good news for Manchester Hawks. Goalkeeper committed herself, started going to the right.
Yeah, Sophie Unsworth, it was there breaking through, and yeah, it was not the most attractive of goals, but it's certainly at this stage everything counts, and I don't care how it goes in.
So Chevalier, Lacour. Oh, good save again by Corahan. Ball just kept out, and it's a goalkeeper ball. Lacour in this crucial stage, not afraid to take her shots.
This is the first time the Hawks have had a chance to take the lead and get into the ascendancy, and it could be crucial for them. Could be a really, really big moment if they do.
Wilbraham into the side netting. That's an attacking foul anyway, called against her, and it's a turnover. And she really has played her heart out, Wilbraham, here, and really not been afraid of the tackles. Lacour, Chevalier. Brought to the ground by Unsworth, who's playing a huge game as well.
Yeah, that looked a little bit rough around the edges, that tackle, but in fairness to Chevalier, she got up and got on with it straight away. But I think it's good that we, if possible, keep all the players on the court and let them decide this one.
From a closed angle, Sunniva Ness, goal number 9. They edge back in front again, nip and tuck here. Just turned back inside, she's stolen it again. Sunniva Ness, the tired legs, take her up court and scores 2 goals inside 30 seconds, her 10th goal of the game. Is this going to be a turning point? But we keep on saying that, and Hawks keep on coming back. So much heart. Stolen, unfairly say the referees. Possession stays with Manchester Hawks. 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining of the first spell of extra time here. Well, I say the first spell of the second extra time. Ibanga carried away. It's going to be a free throw.
Yeah, we've got to remember the players have been on court for nearly 75 minutes now. It's getting on for a third half of handball. It's really impressive to see them keep up this level.
Brilliant goal, and Beth Wilbraham steps up. Long range shot, and again Mosgat goes the wrong way. We're well inside the last minute of play here. And Sunniva Ness is now the one being picked up, and Milling Watson goes forwards.
She's breathing heavily there. She might be quite pleased for a bit of a rest. Let Milling Watson take over.
Free throw. There's so much shouting going on the bench over there from the Hawks supporters that the players couldn't hear the whistle going. Milling Watson, Chevalier, another free throw. We've got 15 seconds remaining in this first period of extra time. Ciano, Milling Watson. They don't want to take too long about it. 10 seconds. Chevalier. She gets a free throw. 5 seconds. I don't think they've even looked at the clock, have they? And that is the end of the first period of extra time.
It should be.
And they didn't realise. No one looked up at the clock. And so we come in then with West London Eagles leading by 1 goal and another spell of 5 minutes remaining. Well, I tell you, I'm breathless and I haven't been on court. I don't know about you, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those games where it's just like 2 prize fighters in the 12th round slugging it out, and it's going to be who can just about stay on their feet at the end. And we've got 3 players from West London that are into double figures now. Chevalier with 13, Milling, Watson and Ness both with 10, and yeah, crucial moments from Ness at the end there to score 2 goals quickly, one on the fast break that they weren't able to convert in the first session of extra time. And yeah, but here we are again, just 1 goal deficit for the Hawks, and we've seen already they're not afraid of a comeback, and they won't be worried about this. They'll have their chances, I'm sure, to get level, and yeah, it's still anyone's. I'm going to give up making predictions.
That's completely pointless at this stage. And so Manchester Hawks then will throw off the second period of extra time. Now, if it's still level at the end of this one, then we go to penalties. And that would be really a tough way to finish what has been a great cup final here. from these two teams.
Absolutely right, but yeah, there doesn't seem to be too many other ways to separate them at the moment. So yeah, full credit for the players, and especially the West London Eagles teams. We talked about the freshness earlier on in the game, but these 6 have been on court for. There's hardly been any substitution. It's tough on the coaches as well, because it's very difficult to introduce players into the game at the moment. It just has to be the feel of the players that are in there. They're in a rhythm, they're in a groove. If you take them off, they'll probably stiffen up anyway. So it's yeah, just about keeping going. Who can keep going the longest?
So Lacour steals the ball here. Oh, did well. How did she find Chevalier? 2 defenders in the way. She threaded it through the eye of the needle. And goal number 14 for Chevalier. And it all came off the interception by Lacour, and I should say also for the Eagles. They've changed keepers, and Utbe has come back into goal after Mojga just missed an opportunity, or some opportunities early on, but she has done a superb job in this final. Mojga off the bar, stays out. Goalkeeper ball, big moment maybe. Paul Dempsey there trying to keep himself calm. Problem is they've been here before when you think, well, that's good, a turning point for the Eagles, and the Hawks come back.
You'd think this far into the game, if they could stretch this lead out to 3 goals now, that might be just too much for Hawks to summon the energy to get it back again. But yeah, we never know. It's been, it's like you said, it's seen finished a couple of times before.
Chevalier scores, but the referees want to have a quick word. They may not give the goal. It looked like too many steps. It's given. It's given, and Chevalier has given them a 3-goal lead. As you say, is this it? Well, I've said this too often. I must stop saying, is this it? Chevalier now on 15 goals. But still, we have 3 minutes and 40 seconds.
It's a shame to have such a controversial moment in such a crucial phase of the game, but I think it was, I don't think there was anything the referees could do not to give the goal after they hadn't whistled it earlier on. But yeah, you can see Donna Hankins is not too impressed over on the side there.
And I have some sympathy with her on that one there. Oh, brilliant save, it'd be. Norwegian keeper.
Yeah, maybe some fresh legs in goal is something that's important. Sprung across brilliantly well to make the save there, low into the bottom right-hand corner.
Oh, Chevalier does well under a lot of pressure to Lacour. Parried away by Cara Hunt. We have less than 3 minutes remaining. Mind you, West London Eagles may be boosted by the fact that only one other final this weekend has gone to extra time, and that was West London Eagles against Warrington Wolves in the Under-16s League final, and the Eagles won it. Looking behind for Unsworth, and they've got to slow it right down now, haven't they, Eagles? Absolutely slow the pace down, and it may force the Hawks to come out and do some individual defending, because at some point they've got to. They can't sit back and wait for the Eagles.
Yeah, that's right. Milling Watson was very quick to come and take the ball off the goalkeeper, just to make sure nobody got carried away, and gave the ball back.
Good save again by Hunt off the shot by Lombardo, and still the Hawks won't give up. Wilbraham passes into the wing, now straight down the middle. Unsworth hits the brick wall that is 3 defenders standing there. She just couldn't quite change direction of the pace she was coming in.
Yeah, just crowded out, too many bodies there to prevent her going through, and yeah, the clock's ticking. They really need a goal here, Hawks.
Wilbraham, oh, brilliant! She has scored some absolutely sublime long-range efforts, Wilbraham.
Yeah,
and here it goes.
Just summoned one last bout of energy, and here we are now, players marking themselves more and more open now. Of course, she's been brilliant, such a young player coming in and just taking the responsibility, not afraid to get on the ball.
Oh, and another turnover. Oh, Chevalier's won it back. If that goes in, surely it's got to be it. 16 goals for Chevalier. What an epic performance. 1 minute and 15 seconds to go, and a 3-goal lead again, and they've stolen it. The break is on, away goes Lombardo. And surely that's it. 3rd goal for Lombardo, and the bench are on their feet. Even Hawks can't make it back from here, can they, Mark?
Well, we've been made to look stupid a few times already today, and yeah.
Less than a minute, though. The ball is stolen now, and you feel somehow that the puff has gone out of the attack, and a long-range shot there who picks it up, and they can run the clock down. smiles from several of the Eagles players. Suniva Ness in particular, who's played her heart out here and on the ball now, will be ever so delighted. And let's bear in mind, as Chevalier saved by Hunt, but it will be 28 seconds remaining and still the initiative is with the Eagles. Awkward bounce there, Morgan scores, her 6th goal of the game. Tired legs, 15 seconds to go on the official clock. And for Lacour, who lost the under-19 final yesterday, didn't want to be on the losing side again today. 5 seconds to go. Quick goals by Hawks, who never do give up. Unsworth's 7th goal, but that is it. And an epic final after double extra time. And West London Eagles have beaten Manchester Hawks by 42 goals to 40 in a heart-stopping final. You have to feel for Manchester Hawks, who played their hearts out, came back twice, first in normal time in the first period of extra time, but in the end, it is the spoils that go to West London Eagles. Donna Hankinson there and Sue Whitehead comforting their players. What a final.
Oh, what a brilliant final, and you can see the Hawks players just drop into the floor. They gave every ounce of energy. It really was just something special to come back time and time again, and just such a fantastic final, a brilliant showcase. And yeah, I think a lot of the players just exhausted with raw emotion. You can see Sophie Unsworth there in tears. She's given absolutely everything, and a brilliant performance. 6 goals from her, 6 goals from Eliza Morgan, 8 from Beth Wilbraham. It's just been what a brilliant final. We're exhausted. I don't know how they must be feeling.
So nice gesture there as Paul Dempsey congratulates some of the Hawks players. Of course, that he is coaching in the GB team. Well, it has been an absolute epic double extra time. Milling Watson there, who played brilliantly, and then at the end was really marked out. Utby, the goalkeeper, who made crucial saves when she was brought on in that last 5-minute spell. And Maddie Edwards, who sadly got injured, a blow to the head, and decided clearly not to put her back on. But Noélie Chevalier for West London Eagles with 16 goals after Hawks tried to put the pressure on Milling Watson and Ness, who were the key players early on, and she just took the responsibility on to take it away and score those crucial goals.
Yeah, I mean, it's, we knew the threat of Ness and Milling Watson, and, they've been the top scorers early in the season. Chevalier scored 38 goals this season and come up with 16 in the cup final. That's really, really an impressive performance. And, in those situations, and we can see the phase of the game where they were trying to stop Ness and Milling Watson, and, Chevalier really came to the fore and piled on crucial goals when it really mattered. And, yeah, I mean, brilliant performance from her, and so many standout performances from both teams that we could call on at the moment. But yeah, a tired-looking Paul Dempsey over here. But congratulations to him as the 2019 Cup-winning coach.
Well, a couple of the players actually from the golden generation of Ruislip Eagles, as they then were, they're holding the flag up at the back and cheering on the 19th Cup title for West London Eagles in their long and illustrious history here. And what a superb performance for them, and 10 goals, as you said earlier, for Milling Watson and for Ness, who did superbly well. And for Zoe Lacour, 16 years of age and now a cup winner. She lost yesterday, she was distraught, really upset. She played her heart out in that final. And then here today, though, she will pick up the gold medal. She showed coveted yesterday and played with great maturity, this young player.
Absolutely, and wasn't scared to go on for big moments at big times in the game. She did a really great job, and crucial times, wasn't scared to take a chance, like you say. And it's impressive that you see a 16-year-old taking on that responsibility.
So the presentations will be made by David Melly, the Chief Executive of the England Handball Association. First up, the referees, Vafa Amadia and Fernando Ramos Lopez, who put in a long shift here as well with the players who collect the memento of the final. And it is quite a final. It'll go down in the annals, I'm sure, of one of the most amazing finals, where the teams just battled it out to the bitter end, and it was never, ever given that either team had won it. Cesar Castillo there, the head of referees for England Handball, who's coordinated 8 matches this weekend. He's had to sort out the referees for. He gets his little memento as well. And it's been a good day for West London Eagles. They lost the under-19 girls final yesterday, but they've now won both finals today, the under-16 boys league title and now the women's cup title. And first up then it is Manchester Hawks who are coming up. Beth Wilbraham there with 8 goals, who really delivered in the crucial time when you needed someone to step up, and she really did, and they were cracking goals from a distance as well. Unsworth, who played her heart out, and smiles there, and they were going for their first title. Not to be, but you know what, talented team here, and with an average age of just 21. We'll see them again.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. And you know, we said they've had success coming through the youth competitions and playing. You know, they've been here represented at so many of the recent cup finals, and yeah, I'm sure they'll be back for more. And a lot of young players there, with a lot of you know, a lot of disappointed faces, but I'm sure a feeling that they'll have to come back and right this wrong in their point of view.
So the last of the players coming through there. That's Emily Madison, the line player, who scored 3 goals, but crucial ones again in the latter stages when they were coming back. And then the last one to come through, Megan Johnson. And so now the moment and they can have their photo done, and they have to put away the emotions here. But you know what a great achievement to get through to the National Cup finals and then give such a great display and such a great game here for the supporters. And Sue Whitehead there having to run in and join in with the team. We work so closely together with Donna Hankinson at the club. And Donna Hankinson also being called over. She disappeared off to speak to the supporters. Come on, we want you in the photo as well. So there is the memento. And congratulations to them, really. The moment now, though, that West London Eagles have been waiting for. Their last cup title back in 2012. Back-to-back titles, in fact, 2011, 2012. And then they lost the final back in 2014 to Olympia. But this time they have done it, and quite rightly, leading them to collect their medals is Noélie Chevalier with 16 goals, who, when they needed someone to step up, and Ness and Milling Watson, who scored 10 goals apiece, were being effectively marked out. She was there. There's Zoe Lacour, the young 16-year-old, followed by the oldest player in the team. I won't name her age. Maria Seri coming through. What a fighter she is. An amazing player. Ciano with 3 goals, and then next up is Christina Littmann, who was injured earlier in the season, but he was wanted to be here with the team. And Witkowska also unable to play today. And the goalkeepers, who've done a fantastic job there. Mozga, who really some great saves at crucial moment. Maddie Edwards, who unfortunately got a blow to the head and missed the end of the match. And Suniva Ness, what a calm head on her shoulders. Just unflappable in those pressure situations, even when she's under real intense marking. And the captain, who was a winner in 2014 for Olympia, ironically, against the Eagles, now leads the Eagles to their 19th cup title. And Paul Dempsey joins them now to be in the photo. Well, a huge congratulations to them. 3 finals for the Eagles this weekend, and 2 gold medals and a silver. And the Eagles banner is coming out. Well, if you've got to put the banner there, you've got to hold it up. Well, that's going to be a great memory for these players when they look back and say, well, that wasn't just a final. That was a seriously long final where we really had to battle right to the bitter end. But I have to say, I'm so pleased it didn't go to penalties.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the nicest way to end the final on penalties, like you say. You know, both teams left so much out there, and you know, that's a medal that's very well earned. It would have been for both teams, and yeah, like you say, they'll look back on that with years to come and probably still feel a bit of tiredness in the legs from that.
Just the thought of it. Well, they're going to have a good long sleep, I think, on the coach back to London this evening.